realize they're a different team with Biddle in the mix, but how do you look at this game? Is it a game that you gritted out a win that you had to make plays at the end, or is it kind of sloppy play that put you in that situation, or probably a little bit of both?
Yeah, I'd say a little bit of both, just a lot of different spurts in the game. I thought we did a lot of good things in the first half, and we didn't reward ourselves. We'd get the ball to the rim, they'd collapse, we'd spray out, have an open three, miss it. We'd get the ball to the rim, it'd rim out, we get fouled, split the free throws, like whatever it might be. I thought a lot of really good things happened, but not a lot of really good results. We obviously prepared for Biddle. I think anytime it's up in the air, you always prepare for everybody to play. So like we just fouled him too much. He's 1 for 8 from three. He got fouled 11 times. Like we're fouling him too much. There's you can argue calls all you want. It's not 11's a very high number, and we just had to do a better job in that area. And but we have to operate as a team from about 8 to 10 turnovers. And when we get to 14, 15, 16 turnovers, it's just entirely too much. Like we're beating ourselves. And but I thought I thought they were really good. It's hard for the position they're in and everything that's happened to them with injuries and whatever. So to be able to play, and they didn't shoot well, obviously, from three. And we had some good opportunities to knock down some shots, and obviously Fletch made a huge one there at the end. But I thought the game was the 7 straight stops we got at the end. Like to be able to pull that out in a game where we haven't played well, haven't taken care of the basketball, just haven't been consistent. We had some good spurts there, but we weren't ever really good consistently, in a long spurt in the game.
How do you close first halves better?
Well, you can't have breakdowns. You got to make your free throws. I think it's always a combination of a sequence, right? You're in a position to be, up 6 to 10 points, and you go in up 2. But it's a sequence. It's getting a stop. It's executing offensively. It's making your free throws. It's not having breakdowns. And then some of it is, they play well. And so other people, we've had good runs to finish the half before, and we've had times where we struggled. But it just goes back. A lot of people want to give it one answer, where there's probably about 5 to 6 possessions there where you have to be better. You have to be better on the defensive end, and then offensively you have to be able to convert. And like I said in the first half, I thought we did some good things. I thought we did some really good things. I think we had 7 turnovers for both halves, and that's just too many. Our goal is 4 turnovers a half. And so, we needed to have, 6 more possessions. We had a couple box outs, one on a free throw that, you just can't. We've allowed that to happen in games. You got to get a free throw box out. You got to do a better job there and secure the basketball.
Hey, Matt, talk about Fletcher Lawyer, what he means to this team. 3 for 4 from three-pointers, 7 or 8 from the line, and what he means to this team.
Yeah, he got off to a good start. Him and Braden both shot the ball well there. But, just his ability to knock down that shot there at the end. I thought the best play he made was the rebound off the free throw. He was able to get that rebound, and that's always a plus when you got a guy that's who you would put at the free throw line, right? He's the guy that we want at the free throw line, so if he can get that rebound, that's just a plus, because now you're not trying to get the ball to people that you want. They've already gotten the ball. So, but I thought, I know I said the plays of the game were the 7 straight stops, but a couple of those rebounds, one of those rebounds by him, but that shot that he made, that was huge. I think that broke their back right there. Even though you're in a position where they can still get it, it was just still such a huge shot and got our crowd into it.
Can you kind of take us through what you guys wanted to set up on that shot? Was it always drawn up for him?
It was for him, and they knocked it out. Yeah, we went to just kind of some misdirection action for a pin down. And I don't know if it was Simpkins. Yeah, I think it was Simpkins. I was going to say him or Lindsey, but Simpkins is in the game the whole time. I think it's Simpkins did a good job of snuffing it out and got physical right there. And then obviously the ball just moved, and, he knocks down a 30-footer. It was huge.
Matt, how much there were times where the offense struggled with both bigs, and how much is that just exasperated by going 5 of 18 from 3?
Yeah, and obviously it compounds, right? You don't take care of the basketball now, like you're your margin of error is different. Your efficiency's got to be better because you're having empty possessions and you're turning the ball over. No different than them, right? They have 13 turnovers also. Like, just, if they get 3-4 more possessions, like, how's this game look? And, you always look at it from your perspective. But, like, you have to be able to play without turning the ball over. And it's the one thing with size, even though, like, neither team really killed it on the glass, both teams have pretty good size. So anytime you're getting quality shots, you're going to give yourself a better chance to offensive rebound. And I think that's the important piece for us. Keep executing, keep taking good shots, keep crashing the glass. Just keep trying to put that stressor on the defense.
Hey, Coach. Second half, under 8 timeout. Trey gets fouled going into that timeout. You had a pretty decent conversation with the referees. What was that about, and what explanation did they give you?
Yeah, so I'm not saying I saw it clearly, but, with the new rule, with the continuation as it's going, I wasn't sure he was calling that continuation, so a shooting foul, and he was. So since he was shooting it there, so the rule is on a goaltending, okay, the ball can't be bouncing on the rim and then I pull the net down. So if the ball is bouncing and I pull the net down and the ball's in the air, that's not goaltending. A lot of people don't know that. The ball's got to be sitting on the rim, okay? So now he shoots it, he misses it, but then the ball's sitting on the rim and they pull the net down. And so that was my argument. Like, I thought the ball was sitting on the rim while he pulled it. It was such a slow developing play, which can happen now with the continuation, that, like, now, like, did they stop looking at the play? And he didn't. He had an explanation to it. He agreed with what I was saying. He just didn't agree the ball was sitting on the rim. And so. Is that reviewable? No, because he didn't call it goaltending. Okay. If he calls it goaltending, well, I'm not going to challenge it. Dana could challenge it, right? I thought it'd be a hell of a call. So then Dana could challenge that if he wanted to. But if you make a no call on a goaltending, that can't be challenged, if I have that correctly.
Coach,
Yes, sir.
Jakari and CJ are both 0 for 3 from behind the arc, both capable of shooting and making those shots. What do you
Right.
tell them come back to the bench to keep that confidence and keep firing the ball?
Yeah, it's a hard thing. Like, you just tell them, we actually only get on them after they miss good shots, is when they pass up another good shot. That's about the only thing we get on them. It's like, you keep taking good shots. If we didn't think you could make those, we wouldn't let you shoot them in the first place. But all three of those guys, like, they're 0 for 8 from 3. Next game's their game. Like, we don't get into that. Like, I think one of them, I think Omer had one that was challenged in the first half out of those 8 that you probably have back. But in that possession, I thought we had 2 different guys that could have shot a better shot before then. Like, a lot of coaches will talk about good to great. Like, you got a good shot, let's work to get a great shot. I'm not a big believer in that, because when you play great defensive teams and you get a good shot, you're not going to get a great one. And so build habits to go against the best teams. And, like, I understand, like, going from average to good. But if you get a good one and you're like, be a little bit more patient, let's get a great one. Those really, really dominant defensive teams just don't let you get there. What happens is sometimes you can build up that way and you're like, oh, this is working. It's not going to work against, real teams when you're talking about the top 10 to 15 teams in the country defensively.
How much of a saving grace was getting into the bonus 5 minutes into
Right.
the second half, because you went through so many lulls where you didn't make a field goal, but you're getting to the line?
Yeah, it was, and even though at the end, like, we end up shooting a good percentage, it was one of those to where, like, we also didn't want it to be counterproductive. And now, like, you're going there, and then, like, you start to split them. You start to miss a front end. But I thought our guys did a good job. Like, right as that started to accumulate, we wanted to be more aggressive, but we also wanted to be smart about it. But, yeah, that definitely helped us.
Just the flip side of Jakari and CJ struggling with their shots. You got another nice spark from Benner and good minutes from Daniel. Can you just kind of speak to those guys?
Yeah, I thought Jack did a good job. I thought, like, he once again, excuse me, took another charge. It's take 2, beautiful. He just finds his way. Like, people that take a lot of charges are quick thinkers, especially in today's game, because you really got to be there early with the way they changed the rule. And, he makes that big 3 down that stretch. Maybe we had a couple breakdowns there from a ball screen defense standpoint. But I thought Daniel needed to be in the game. kind of looked at, the plus minus, but from him and Oscar, just needed to be in the game. It just made more sense for him to be in there. And I thought he did a really good job. It's hard because those guys that come off our bench, there's times they play well and they don't get rewarded. And that's frustrating as a player, right? Because you always think if I play better, I play well. Sometimes you don't. And tonight, you kind of see some of that a little bit. We stuck with Omer a little bit there in that run. Chikari got a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's a tough deal. But hopefully someday that they'll be the other guy. And when they don't play well, they get to, finish out a game.
Speaking of the ball defense, there was back-to-back plays where Benner and Meyer seemed to miscommunicate on whether they were hedging or switching.
Yes.
Just what was supposed to happen on those two plays and what?
Yeah, when you go and you go up there and we're trying to get a high hedge with it. And when you can't get that high hedge with our fours, our evacuation is a switch. So now you're not in between. You might not like the matchup, but now they're not scoring off that action. And so that's what happened on one of those. And then the other one was he took it out. And then when he took it out, Omer didn't come under it, and Omer had switched, and he thought that he didn't switch. And so that was just a communication snafu. And so it happens a lot of times on television. I mean, when you're watching film and you watch, you can see if somebody is talking. If you got a big screen and you can see if they're talking. You can see if they're not talking. But then there's times you can't. And then it's about communicating and then being able to take a command and reacting to it. It's not always the guy saying it. It's the person receiving it and then being able to do it. That's why you drill it. That's why you do it, because if you can't hear, you have to have habits in those areas. It just happens too much. And we just, you can't break down there. That's why we give them an evacuation. Okay, if this happens and we don't do what we're supposed to, okay, we go to this. Okay, if we do what we're supposed to, then you just stay with your habit and then you go from that. And just a couple breakdowns.